Hi, everyone. Welcome to the live stream tonight. Welcome to the Piedmont Trails channel. For those that don't know me, my name is Carol, and tonight is the Colonial Records of Part 2 of our summer extravaganza on Colonial Records. We have expanded our list. We have received a huge, overwhelming feedback from our Part 1 of this series, so we decided to extend it. So we are including all 13 British colonies, plus additional areas and territories, plus we're including France and Great Britain, the Netherlands, Switzerland, Sweden. We are including other places across on the old world. So we're going to be including that too. Tonight, we have changed the schedule up a little bit. I think we originally put on our community page that our YouTube channel that we were including Alabama, portions of Tennessee, Kentucky, the Ohio Valley. We've kind of changed that a little bit. So tonight it's going to be about Tennessee, Virginia, and North Carolina. And as we go through these through the summer, and hopefully we'll get all of this done because I want to include Canada too. So we'll see if we can get this done this summer. Our schedule we may tweak it a little bit as we go forward. So the best way to keep up with us on what exactly is coming up on the next live streams and when they're going to occur is just to follow us on our website at piedmonttrails.com, or you can visit our community page on our YouTube channel at Piedmont Trails. We probably won't be putting it up on social media as far as the schedules, because our schedule is so tight these days. So we may not be able to do that, but we will definitely put it on YouTube and on our website. So that would be the two places to look in the future. Okay, we got Melissa with us. Hi, you guys. Welcome. Elaine's with us tonight. Jan's here, and Beverly's here. So we got New York, Alabama, North Carolina, Indiana, and Northern Indiana. Cassandra is here, and I got your email, Cassandra, and I found some pretty interesting things for you. And I want to thank you, Cassandra, for sharing your story with us. It was when I wanted to print it out, which I did, and it came out to 4 pages in length, and I was amazed at all the detail that you offered. And because of those details and the way that you had traced your steps back in following your family history, that led me to different paths that I had available to me here. So I will be getting back with you very, very soon. And Michael's here from Texas. Hey, you guys, welcome, welcome. All right, I think I told you guys that we've added to our list, so we're going to be including France, Great Britain, Switzerland, Germany, the Netherlands, and there's going to be many, many more over the summer. I want to include Canada. I want to also include the Caribbean. So, and I may even want to go as far as in the western sections of Missouri, because Missouri is important during the 18th century and how it changed after the French and Indian War, and then after the American Revolutionary War, and with the first real Western expansion beginning around 1818 to 1820, 1821, 22. It really, I think we may need to stress on that area too. So we will see. The live chat is up and running, and I can see you guys. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Is my microphone too loud, or it's not loud enough? Let me know that you can hear me. Talk amongst yourselves and meet new friends tonight. Make your comments. Share your favorite Colonial records. I will definitely not be able. I'm just mentioning my favorite ones that come first to my head. Okay, for these areas for you guys. So I'm sure there are many, many more out there, and you may have your own favorite too. So go ahead and mention it. If you've got I don't know if you can share a link on the chat, but try it. And if you can, then we'll go from there. I know that YouTube sometimes does not like that. So just share the name of your source at least anyway. And if you have questions, I'll do the very best that I can, the best of my ability to answer them. We're going to travel back to the colonial period, and I will look up and read your comments ever so often, and check on you guys. All of these items that I'm sharing with you are free. If I share a link for them, and the links will be shared after the live stream in the comments section at the bottom of this video. I did that last time. It seemed to work pretty well. And I also listed it on the community page on our Piedmont Trails YouTube channel. So there's two places for you to go to for those links. So most of these records that I share, many of them have been digitized and they're available online. And I do share the link with you. And for the books, I do share with you information of libraries of where you can find them, how many copies are available, and so forth. I never share records where you have to pay a fee or a subscription to view a document. That will not ever happen on Piedmont Trails. You do not have to pay for what we share. And I don't want to refer someone that has to go to a paid subscription site in order to view genealogy records. Okay. The lineup tonight is Tennessee, North Carolina, and we're going to end with Virginia in that order. And just like last time, I'm going to begin with court records. If I've listed them, then I'm going to go with taxes and land, if I've got any for that, and then I'll end up with religion or church records. And sometimes on some of these, I will offer historical societies who have free digitized information, and I've got several of them listed for you guys tonight. Okay, so we're going to start with Tennessee. For court records, Hawkins, this is what for your court records for Tennessee, let me say this. Early court records will begin in North Carolina. The North Carolina State Archives will have them. Otherwise, the court records are held at the Tennessee State Archives. But I recommend that you go to the individual counties because they will have the original records of those court records. Even though North Carolina was responsible for Tennessee pretty much until 1790, the court records are held at both locations. Okay, so some will be in North Carolina. There are copies, transcriptions, and then there's some in Tennessee. But I urge you to go to that actual county for court records. But I do have a favorite listing for Hawkins County, and that is a book. It's Hawkins County, Tennessee, Marriages and Wills, 1786 to 1851 by Annie Bell, published by Lucy McGee in Washington, D.C. in 1934. It is digitized. This entire book has been digitized and it is available online, and I will provide you with a link. It does have an index to it, and inside that book, it does offer other details under certain entries, such as parents, witnesses, location, and things of that nature. Okay. The next listing that I have for courts in Tennessee is the Watauga Purchase. This is a title of a book. It's very long. The Watauga Purchase, March 19, 1775, at Sycamore Shoals of Watauga River. The Cherokee Indians to Charles Robertson, trustee for the Watauga settlers, an index of the Watauga Purchase, the North Carolina land grants and deeds through 1782. That's the end of the title. Written by Mary Hardin McCown and Irma Bowman Kitzmiller, published by the Overmountain Press in Johnson City, Tennessee in 1976. This is an extremely very rare book. Very rare book. I did look on worldcat.org. If you want to find some of these books at a close library near you, go to worldcat, WORLDCAT.org. Punch in the name of your book, punch in your zip code to your location. It will show you which library has that book that is closest to you. Okay? When I looked at WorldCat, there was only 23 copies that were available, and almost all of these copies, except for 3, were located in Tennessee. There were a couple copies located in North Carolina, and I forget where the last one was. It may have been Virginia. Extremely, extremely powerful information book filled with all kinds of information dating from the very first beginning settlement of the Tennessee area. Okay, the next item that I'm going to share, I'm going to move on to of lands, and I'm going to share the website link of where you can actually find land grants for Tennessee in the colonial period. You can find over 9,000 of these land grants. They have all been digitized. They've all been available online. This is courtesy of David McCorkle and the North Carolina State Archives. Many of the surveys are available. What else? You can actually print these items, or you can download them for your ancestor. They are, you can search by surname only, or you can search by a particular county or an area in present day Tennessee. And I will share that link for you. But when I looked, they are in the process of digitizing many of these original records. And with the eastern sections of Tennessee, actually all of Tennessee was under Rowan County for a while, until portions of it changed through the years as the counties changed in North Carolina until 1790, when North Carolina ceased its land in Tennessee. Over 9,000 of these land grants had been digitized. So it was quite a big number. So I'll share that. So be excited about that. Number 3 is a book, Tennessee, A History, 1673 to 1932 by Philip Hammer, published by W.C. Cox and Company in Tucson, Arizona in 1974 as a reprint. The original consisted of 4 volumes and was originally published in 1933. The reprint is available and digitized online through FamilySearch.org. You will need to not go to just a regular library that has access to Family Search, but you'll need to access Family Search Library Center that is closest to you. I just randomly pulled up several in my state. There are many. So if you will go to FamilySearch.org and then punch in your zip code to look for a Family Search Center library and nearest you, and then you can access this complete set free online, digitized and indexed. Number 4 for this is Annals of Tennessee to the End of the 18th Century, comprising its settlement as the Watauga Association from 1769 to 1777, a part of North Carolina from 1777 to 1784, the state of Franklin from 1784 to 1788, a part of North Carolina from 1788 to 1790, the territory of the United States south of the Ohio from 1790 to 1796, the state of Tennessee from 1796 to 1800 by James Ramsey. And that is the title of that book. Published by J. Russell in Charleston, South Carolina, 1853. This book is entirely digitized. It's available online, and I will provide you with a link. Okay, now this is where I'm going to mention a few associations or historical societies for Tennessee. About several years ago, I think it was in 2019 or 2018, we started a thorough investigation of Eastern Tennessee because we wanted to understand of who these settlers were that first came into this area, what colonial roads they traveled, and who was responsible for starting the Watauga Association, okay? And then we wanted to know who initiated the advance of the state of Franklin, and what were the real issues between North Carolina and the people that were living in Tennessee, and why were they having such a hard time in communicating and so forth. So we conducted this thorough investigation on that. It lasted a couple of years, and we printed several articles, shared a ton of references, early settlers' names, with documented references for them. You can find all of our investigation for those couple of years with Tennessee on our website at PiedmontTrails.com. You can enter in the search tab and then search for a particular surname or a particular area in Tennessee that you're looking for. And one of the resources that we kept referring back to time and time again was the Watauga Association, and also for Washington County, Tennessee Archives. Both of these organizations work together. They have a ton of Tennessee genealogical material, all kinds of documents, colonial documents dating to before the American Revolutionary War and after. And we were able to find so much information through them, and they were all very helpful, courteous, and just willing to talk about history and genealogy in this area with anyone who's willing to listen. And I have, ever since then, I've strongly suggested them. So I will be sharing a link for the Watauga Association, okay, in Tennessee, and I will be sharing a link for Washington County, Tennessee Department of Records, Management, and Archives. And like I said, check on our website for more links and data for Tennessee, as we did our research several years ago in that area. Okay, are you guys with me? Let me read some of your comments here. Cassandra, you bring up a good note. In worldcat.org, if you punch in a particular book, and let me say this, a lot of these books, like the rare book that I told you about in Watauga County purchase, the Watauga Purchases, that is a very, very rare book. That was at Over Mountain Press and written by Irma and Mary, who have both passed on now. But that particular book will never leave the premises of that particular library. So some of these books that are rare, they will tell you that. They'll say this is in a special collections area. Now, a lot of times what you can do is you can contact the library, and they sometimes have volunteers, or the librarian themselves will go and pull the book and actually maybe look up for you. If you ask nicely, always be nice to your librarians. We desperately need them, each and every one of them. It is a hard job to keep everything organized and indexed, and to save and have proper storage for these books. But the ones that are rare, Cassandra, you're right. You will not be able to do an interloan or have them shipped to a different library. And that was one of the books that you will not be able to do with. There's only 23 copies left. They were only printed, just a certain number of those were printed to begin with. I think Jonesboro Historical Society, and don't quote me on this, but I was thinking a year ago or so, they were thinking of digitizing this themselves. I don't know if they ever completed that. You might can check on their website to see. But I did hear at one point that they were thinking about digitizing it and making it available online, which would be extremely helpful for so many people who are interested in the beginnings of Tennessee. So thank you, Cassandra, for pointing that out. Oh, Jan, that is a good SLNC Government and Heritage Library is a good source. And says you submitted a request for access but haven't used it. I recommend you use that. I really do. And Michael says, where are photos usually discovered? Photos pertaining to Tennessee, or exactly what photos are you talking about? It depends. It depends. All right, you guys. We're going to move on. You ready to go to North Carolina? And we're saving Virginia for last. Okay, Court Records, North Carolina. The Colonial Records of North Carolina. This is a book. Colonial Records of North Carolina, 1662 to 1790 by William Saunders, published in Raleigh, North Carolina in 1886. If you haven't heard of William Saunders and you've been researching in North Carolina, oh, this is a big light switch on for you. The sun will be bright for you for many, many days. William Saunders was a great historian for North Carolina history. This is a 30-volume set. Several of the volumes are available and digitized online. Not all of them are. Most of them are. And a link to volume number 1 I will share. From there, you can move forward and search for other volumes. But it is available. Number 2 is North Carolina Wills and Inventories copied from original and recorded wills and inventories in the Office of the Secretary by State by John Grimes, published by Edwards and Broughton in Raleigh, North Carolina in 1912. This is completely available online and digitized with a complete index. You can search it, and I will provide a link. This is another book, A North Carolina Taxpayer, 1679 to 1790. This is a 2-volume set by Clarence Ratcliffe, published by Genealogical Publishing Company in Baltimore, Maryland in 1987. It is digitized, and it's available online. And if your ancestor was in North Carolina, you're going to find them in this book. Again, the dates for that is 1679 to 1790. It's a 2-volume set. It is digitized, available free online, and I will provide a link. Okay, I was just checking comments. All right, land. North Carolina Land Grants Imagery and Data Link. This is where I was referring to in Tennessee, where you could go to David McCorkle's website of North Carolina land grants and look for land grants in the Tennessee area. Well, I'm listing this again as one of my favorites for North Carolina. This is a must-have if you have ancestors that were living in North Carolina and obtaining land. You will find them. You will not only just find them, you'll find their neighbors, and you'll find the actual surveys, how the land laid. You will be able to plot the land and map it and know exactly where your ancestors' land and property was. And I will share the link for that. Deed abstracts of Tryon, and Cassandra, I was thinking of you on this. So, deed abstracts of Tryon, Lincoln, and Rutherford counties, North Carolina, 1769 to 1786, by Brent Holcomb. That's Brent Holcomb, published by Southern Historical Press in Easley, South Carolina, in 1977. Look at this at worldcat.org. I showed 277 copies were available in libraries across the United States. Okay. 3 is Province of North Carolina, 1663 to 1729, Abstracts of Land Patents by Margaret Huffman, published by Roanoke News Company in Weldon, North Carolina in 1979. Check worldcat.org. I showed 333 copies available throughout the U.S. Number 4 is the Granville District of North Carolina, 1748 to 1763. Abstracts of Land Grants by Margaret Huffman, again, published by Roanoke News Company in Weldon, North Carolina, 1986. And worldcat.org, I showed 296 copies available. Okay. Michael says, where are photos usually discovered about your ancestors? Oh, that could be anywhere. There are so many websites now, personal websites of family genealogy, where people are now, I think it really became a boom, when COVID hit and people were stuck at home, that they got this idea, well, I'm going to share my journey of my family and my genealogy. And so if you just do random search, a lot of times you will find individual websites that share photographs of their ancestors. And I have found all kinds of pictures just doing that kind of search online. Also, there are tons of pictures that people have submitted over the years, like on Find a Grave. You can find many of them on there, or Wikitree. They'll share links of them to them on there. But there's all kinds of different places. Do a random search, Michael, and see what you come up with. Okay. Let's see, Quakers. I want to talk about Quakers in North Carolina. The Hege Library, S-H-E-G-E, Hege Library, has the largest collection from the Society of Friends records in the state, in the whole state. That's where your Quaker records will be. These records begin from 1680, and there are thousands upon thousands upon thousands of documents that can be found there. The library is located at the Guilford College in Greensboro. Okay, it's in Greensboro, and I will put up a link that goes directly to the Hagee Library website. I will share that. I know what the next question is going to be. Do they have records that they've already digitized? They do have a few. But the great thing about when you go to the website is they provide a complete index of what records and collections they have on hand. And that gives you a big boost, a big head start. And then you can contact them from that point. They've got a great contact form on the website. You can fill in details on it. Great people to work with. And so if you have Quaker ancestors, Hagee Library is where you want to be in North Carolina. Okay, number 2, Quaker marriage certificates from Sutton's Creek monthly meetings, North Carolina, 1677 to 1800, by Gwen Borkman, published by Heritage Books in Maryland in 1988. WorldCat.org showed 202 copies available, mainly in the southeast of the United States for that book. Next section for Moravians. I know you guys have heard me refer to the Moravians and their journals, their diaries, all throughout the Great Wagon Road Project and various other history projects that we've had going on at Piedmont Trails. Well, the records of the Moravians in North Carolina, 1752 to 1879, it's an 8-volume set by Adelaide Fries, published by Edwards and Broughton Print Company in Raleigh, North Carolina in 1922. They've all been completely digitized. They're available on archive.org. You can actually search within each volume to find your ancestor or a particular event or that was going on around the Moravians in the Piedmont area of North Carolina. They're a great resource to use. These volumes give you it's good to get familiar with them, and that gives you a head start before you actually go to the Moravian archives in the southern province located in Winston-Salem, which I'll share a link with them as well. The Moravians kept explicit, detailed records for the Piedmont area. And so they mentioned names of people that lived near them, who they traded with or conducted business with, or events that were happening around them. They recorded and documented everything from the weather to battles that were being fought during the American Revolutionary War. So I highly recommend starting with this volume set by Adelaide Fries, and I will share the link for that. The Moravian journals and records are stored at the archives at the Southern Province in Winston-Salem, and I will share a link to their website. Years ago, when I would visit them, which was one of my favorite places to conduct research when I first got started, you could just casually walk in. You would greet the person that was in charge there at the Southern Province, and then I think you may have to sign in. You may have had to sign a list, but then you could just go to the start searching immediately. It's different now. You do have to fill out a form. You have to do it by appointment only. Okay, so just make sure you check out the website before you decide to do research there, and just follow all the guidelines that they've got now. Lutherans, history of the German settlements and of the Lutheran Church in the North and South Carolina from the earliest period of the colonization of the Dutch, German, and Swiss settlers to the close of the first half of the present century by G.D. Burnham, published by Lutheran Bookstore in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 1872. It is digitized. It's available online. It has a ton of names and family information in there, and I will share that link. Episcopals, the Episcopal Church in North Carolina, 1701 to 1959 by Lawrence London, published in Raleigh, North Carolina in 1987. This is also digitized and available online, and I will share a link. I also want to make a few comments about the taxes in the court records. At times, taxes were they were handled by the districts and not by the counties themselves in North Carolina. Be mindful of this. As you research court and taxes and land records. The districts were created in 1760, okay? That's your magic number for taxes, courts, 1760. So watch your timeline and make sure that you're searching in the right place. Many of the areas for taxes were recorded as a district level. So like the Salisbury district, and they would be in charge of three different counties. So just make sure that you're looking in the right area when you're looking at taxes information in North Carolina. All right, Cassandra says, yes, the Library of Congress has a large photograph holdings, especially of historical places, of historical significance. They will have a lot of photographs pertaining to that. And I was trying to think of another website. It just left me. I'll think of it. National Register of Historical Places is a great place to look for photos too. They have all kinds of information in there as far as roads, actual buildings, dwellings, family photographs, tons of information. And Family Search, yes, it is, Jan. Family Search is a great place to search for photos. A lot of people are really taking the time out to preserve their old photos. Photos as I knew them as a kid growing up has changed dramatically over the years. Now everything's stored on your phone. How many photos do you guys have on your phone? So now a lot of people are finding out different ways to preserve them online. So, yeah, Family Search is another great site to look. Okay, our last segment tonight is Virginia, the area known as the first permanent settlement made by the English settlers in 1607. The first private land grants date to 1617. There's a lot of history that spans all throughout Virginia. There are so many colonial records. I mean, we could talk about Virginia and their records for weeks and still not be able to cover everything. Virginia is just a vast amount of our past. It really is. And so tonight what I've done is I've carefully picked out some that were just really important to me. And they really helped me all through the years. So that's what I'm going to share as my favorites. So with the court, I'm going to start with a book, Executive Journal. And like I said, before I do this, court records, always try to go for the original records. You have to go on the county level. The same thing with North Carolina, same thing with Tennessee that I said, same thing with Virginia. Try to get the original records, okay? But these books that I'm going to share have been some really best friends for me as far as the information that they had within them. So I'm going to start with Executive Journals of the Council of Colonial Virginia, 1680 to 1775 is a 6-volume set. It is by the Virginia Council, published in Richmond, Virginia in 1925. It's completely digitized. It's indexed. You can search through it. I will provide the link at the end of the video. Number 2, the reports of Sir John Randolph and Edward Barrandall of the decisions of the General Court of Virginia, 1728 to 1741. It's a 2-volume set published in Boston, okay, in 1909 by R.T. Barton, and it is digitized and available online, and I will provide you a link. The Journals of the House of Burgesses of Virginia, 1619 to 1776 is a 13-volume set. It's edited and written by John Kennedy. It was published by the Colonial Press in Richmond, Virginia in 1905, completely digitized. It's available online. You can search through it to your heart's content, and I will provide a link to that. The Records of the Virginia Company of London by Herbert Osgood, published by Government Printing Office in Washington, D.C., 1906. You're not going to find many original records from the Virginia Company. But this is a good resource. I have used it and referred back to it many, many times all throughout the years. This book has been digitized, and you can search through it, and I will provide a link for it. Colonial Records of Virginia by Thomas Wynn, The last name is Wynne. Published by R.F. Walker in Richmond, Virginia in 1874. This is digitized. This is a good book. I call this, every time I think of this book, I think it's a solid, good book. I don't know why, but it is, every time I look at it, it's a solid book. Not many people use the adjectives for solid for a book, but it is. It's a very good book. Old, reliable book. For land, okay, Cavaliers. Can you finish the title? Cavaliers and Pioneers by Nell Nugent. Published by Dietz Print Company, Richmond, Virginia in 1934. 7-volume set. Completely digitized, available online at archive.org. It's a fun set to go through. Just to read about all of these fascinating people who entered into Virginia. Again, the title is Cavaliers and Pioneers, one of my all-time favorites. Northern Neck Proprietary, 1649 to 1690, is available at Family Search. Visit a Family Search Center for complete access to this digitized record. Virginia Northern Neck Land Grant, 1694 to 1862. This is a 4-volume set by G.E. Gray, published by Genealogical Publishing Company in Baltimore, Maryland, 1987. Portions of this is digitized, okay, not all of it, but I will share the digitized link to you guys after the video. Okay, into churches, Colonial Churches in Virginia by Henry Brock, published by the Dale Press in Richmond, Virginia in 1950. I checked on worldcat.org and they had 277 copies of this book available in different libraries. Going into other records and miscellaneous records, Virginia Colonial Abstracts, okay, 34 volumes by Beverly Fleet, published by the Genealogical Publishing Company in Baltimore, Maryland in 1988. It is digitized. It's available online, all volumes, and I will provide a link after the video. English Duplicate of Lost Virginia Records by Louis de Courtenay. This book is available online. It has been digitized. It was published by in Princeton, New Jersey in 1958, and I will provide a link for you at the end of the video. Historical Southern Families. This is a 23-volume set by John Bodie. It was published by the Genealogical Publishing Company in Baltimore, Maryland in 1957. All 23 volumes are available online and searchable, and I will provide a link at the end of the video. I'm going to bring in here as under the miscellaneous, the Library of Virginia. If you've never visited the Library of Virginia online, I will provide you a link. There are so many things that you can go through and learn, go through their digitized records. There's so much on there. It's hard to put it all in just a few words, so I'm just going to leave it at that. I'll provide a link and just browse and just take your time going through it, okay? All right, another one is a book, Documents Chiefly Unpublished, relating to the Huguenots of immigration to Virginia and to the settlement at Mannequintown, with a full list of refugees dating 1700. This is by R.A. Brock. It was published by the Genealogical Publishing Company in Baltimore, Maryland, 1962. Very interesting book. It is available online. It has been digitized, and I will provide a link. I think the book was available on archive.org, and I will provide a link where you can go through that book. Another one of my favorites is another book at Hopewell Friends History of Frederick County, Virginia, 1734 to 1934. It's published in 1975. It is digitized. It's available online. I'll have a link for you. The Frederick Parish Episcopal Church Vestry book, stated in 1764 to 1818. It is available online at Family Search. It has been digitized. You just have to go to a Family Search library center to have access to that. Remarkable records in this book. Very remarkable. Another one of my favorites in that particular area is Cedar Creek Presbyterian Church Records, 1755 to 1937. It has also been digitized and is also available at FamilySearch.org. In Augusta area, Chronicles of the Scotch-Irish Settlement of Virginia, 1745 to 1800, published 1912 by Lyman Chalkley. I actually have the original first copy of this book, and I have a reprint of this book. This book has also now been digitized and it's available online, but I cannot name how many times I have referred back to this book. It has a lot of different information about individuals that many of them, they did not stay in Virginia very long. And if it hadn't have been for some of these documents, you would have never known that they were there. So it's rare information. So I have referred back to it many, many times. It's a very good book. And I'll provide the link to the full digitized copy to you. Tinkling Spring Presbyterian Church Records, 1741 and 1963, has been digitized. It's on FamilySearch.org. If you're looking for land boundary disputes in Virginia, or if you're looking for the care of the poor in Virginia, guardianships of orphans, levying of taxes, indentures, and apprenticeships, you need to look for these records in the parish vestry books. Parish vestry books is where you need to be looking for that information. Also in Virginia, approximately every 4 years, landowners would walk or ride their land boundaries with a surveyor. There are records for these events. They gave the records give the owners names, the actual date of when they did this, the description of the marked corners of the land, of the property that they're riding or walking, and the witnesses who were present to witness the event. You'll find these records in the Processions Returns books of Virginia. Okay? A lot of people aren't aware of that. All right. See, Jen says some digital. Yes. There are a lot of university libraries who have digital copies of newspapers and pictures. Yes, I use university libraries a lot. Okay, you guys, we've reached the end of our part 2 of our Colonial Records Summer Extravaganza series. So our next live stream is scheduled for June 23rd. That's on a Sunday, June 23rd at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Watch for details about part 3 on our website, or go to our community page on the Piedmont Trails YouTube channel to find out what will be coming up next. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. I want to share with you what's going on this week with Piedmont Trails. We're conducting a ground expedition with the Great Wagon Road Project at the end of this week. Batch number 3 of the Colonial Indentured Servants Project will be published on the website tomorrow, June 3rd. That's batch number 3 from Virginia, Colonial Indentured Servants Project. It will be on the website tomorrow. Segment number 3 from the Mecklenburg Declaration Project will be published Thursday. That's June 6th, this coming up Thursday. It's going to be a pretty interesting article. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. And then our next podcast episode will be out by June 8th, and it will be about the Great Wagon Road. We're going to be sharing the inside of our research and what all that we have experienced in discovering the Great Wagon Road since 2019. Okay? And that's coming out by June 8th. All right, you guys, thank you so much. Thank you for joining me. I hope that some of these favorites of mine are able to help you. I hope that they help you guys on your journey to the past. And I hope that you make brand new discoveries by going through them. And sometimes it's just fun to just sit back and just look at all of these documents and just read them. And, you'd be surprised what all you learn just by doing that. Okay, so I hope you all have a great week this week and enjoy your journey to the past. And may God bless.